right. And we're live. Whew. Had to move around a little bit. How's everybody doing? Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful souls. Hi, Dee. I don't know if you caught the last little tune. I was playing Long Cool Woman, one of my favorite songs. And before I do mediumship, I raise my energy a little bit so we can kind of easier meet with the other side. But when I do some readings, usually it's the opposite. I kind of quiet down. So we'll see if a few other people are going to join us. A few people are planning. I just got an email text from Lynn. So I told him I'm going live soon. And I'm sweating. It's hot in here. Okay. So Dee, is there anybody here? Let's see. Yesterday when Spirit told me that, yeah, I do mediumship, there was quite a lineup. I could see them all lined up, but whether they have a lot to say or it's just a few words, we'll see. Okay, what's coming through? So if you, when I do this live, I usually ask people to give me their voice, their yes. You can either put a hand, you can either put yes, and I'm going to see what my guide will bring forth. I do have a mail that is coming through. Okay. Now this mail is kind of funny because I don't think he worked with light bulbs per se, but he's talking about light bulbs. Hi, Lynn. I'm just telling Dee, there's a gentleman that's coming forth, I believe it's for Dee, and he would have done something to do with light bulbs, or there was a joke about screwing a light bulb or something to do with light bulb. Hi, Alan. How are you? So this man is a male that is coming through. I'm asking his age. He's saying 74. So sometimes when they say 74, it could be the age that they passed. It could be in 1974. Sometimes they're not very clear. They're trying to communicate with me and telling me stuff, and I'm trying to relate it to you. But this person was a little bit on the chubby side, not overly huge, but a little bit on the chubby side. But he had a very deep sense of humor. Because he's very giggly. So he would have been, I'm asking him where he would have worked. He worked at some kind of factory. It looks like a factory he would have worked at. I think they used to live out east and eventually they moved out here, but I think they were out east for a little while, like Maritimes. Something, I asked how he passed, and this male would have been something with the stomach, maybe not digesting food properly, but there was definitely something going on in this area. I asked how many children he had. He had 7, so it could be somebody's grandfather. I don't think that many people have that many kids now, but he said 7. And what kind of message do they have okay, so he's talking about somebody's name here. He's talking about either an Ashley, so maybe one of the children or somebody with the name of Ashley that would have been around. He's talking, it could have been a wife, but he's talking about Ashley. Sometimes grandparents will come around and they'll mention somebody's name, and if it's not one of their kids they had, it could be a grandchild. So I don't know if anybody has a niece or somebody named Ashley, but he's connected to this Ashley, he says. I think a lot of people would have called him Jim. I don't know if it was his real name, but I think I'm getting a Jim or J initial. So if that rings with any of you, I'm thinking this is for D. But if it's for, sometimes they come across and say things that could be for a little bits and pieces for everybody that's listening. So that could be it as well. Definitely stomach issues. Maybe near the end he wasn't processing the food. Something to do with the stomach. You would have known this person would have maybe I'd mentioned that Prior to their passing, they had a lot of anxiety. Um, they weren't sure like how things were going to be after they leave. A lot of people that are they know they're passing um, don't want to leave the other people behind. They know that it's their time, and this was the gentleman's time to pass. But still, he was a little anxious to leave everybody behind. So it's understandable. If anything rings true, just put something there so I know that I'm on the right track with you guys. Because I asked my guide to bring only people that have crossed for the people that's going to be looking my live feed. So, and if there's something that has not come through, and if you want to hear from someone, just put it through. Okay. So sorry about that. I don't know who that is. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Anybody else to come through? They're not saying too much. I don't know if they work with flowers because I see them. It's not so much of like a garden per se, but they have these tall kind of hedges, and it looks like sometimes there were flowers around them, and it was around. Wondering if it's your bits and pieces of more than one of us. Could be, could be. Sometimes they're letters and postcards. So what I came at first, I definitely knew this is was for you, D. Could be a grandfather. Let me see if you can tell me if he's on the mother's side, the father's side, same father's side. So it would be on your father's side. Sometimes grandfather, great grandfather, but definitely, yeah. So it looks like there's like a fence. He's working outside and he's got these tall, they're not edges like we see, but maybe they're the tall flowers and he's trimming them. So he would have liked to do stuff outdoors. So could definitely be with you. Sometimes they even talk about stuff that you may not know, but sometimes you need to confirm with other people in the family because the messages may be for you, but a lot of it could be for someone else that needs to hear this in the family as well. The letters and postcard are a group of people. You say one thing to one person, but their little bits and pieces could work for someone else as well. You believe your great grandfather is one of your guides? Well, he could come in and out to help, but he's not like the not your guide. Like how can I say? Could be one of them that comes and helps you definitely when you're doing something, because our ancestor will come in and help us and be around us. But usually they're not a guide like your spirit guide, because your spirit guide is born when you're born. You have two spirit guides, but one is always with you until each lifetime, from the day you're born until you die. But the others come as guides, and they're not like spirit guides, but they do come as guides and guide us through whatever you're going through. Whether it's job, whether it's your writing, whether you're going through a tough time, the ancestors that have been through that have experienced that, they will come around to support us, to help us, and to make us feel that, yes, they are here. Yeah. Could very well be. Yeah. And they'll come in and out. Yeah. And it depends too what the individual person is doing. They may have more. We have more than two guides. A lot of people have, 5, 10. It depends what you're doing. Certainly when I do healing, sometimes my guides that come there are not always around me like Red Arrow is. My main guide is Red Arrow, and he's native. So just see if there's anybody else or if there's any. Okay. 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 So for if this is your great grandpa, he's showing me, I don't know if it's lobster. Looks like a lobster, or maybe the Scorpio sign. He's showing me this, and he's kind of laughing. But it's almost like he's showing me an image, what reminds me of Scorpio. So I don't know if he was Scorpio, if he was born in November, or he's making reference to it's not Cancer, because Cancer is a different thing, but it looks definitely more like Scorpio than a Cancer sign. But his image it's like an animated image he's showing me, so I'm not 100% sure there. But it could very, very well be. Very, very well be. Do you have any questions for him, Dee, for your great grandfather? Because they come around when I connect with loved ones on the other side. They will come around for a while. Some can stay a very long time. We can have a wonderful chat. and others only can, the energy that they have will only last a few minutes. So it depends on who it is, how long they've been gone. So, and you want to make sure he's okay. If it resonates with you to ask other members of your family, he's saying he's fine. He's having a great time. He's busy. He's doing stuff. He's not sitting and Um, he said that he is fine. He's having a blast. Whatever he's doing, he's busy. He's not the type just to sit and twirl his thumbs. And he's doing stuff. He's going around, moving around. So he's good. He's good. Yes. I asked him if there's a message for you, Dee, and he just says, take care of yourself. If you can give me something else, because I already know that's kind of to say. But if you had something else that's a little more personal, let me see. Not too personal because we're on live. Okay, maybe this rings true with you. He's saying, be that rock. So perhaps him or your dad or somebody down the pipeline kind of thing always said to you, be that rock, be solid, be strong, be that rock. That's what his words were, be that rock. So maybe that will, and some of the things that I say, if you can't think of something right now, just give it a few minutes. Sometimes the next day you'll go, oh, geez, yes. Or you talk to another of your family member and say, somebody said this, and you check with them and they will validate sometimes because that message was meant for more than one person. So, Lynn, anybody coming over? Lynn, I have a lady that's stepping forth. She would love to always have her hair set in a certain way. She comes across, her hair is about this long, but she had this, when she went out, it didn't matter what clothes that she wore, as long as her hair was set the way she liked, because she didn't want to go out like that. She had always making sure her hair is, styled or in a do or something that she wouldn't go out without that. So I don't know if that kind of rings a bell with you. Definitely female. See if I can get a name. Okay. Well, she's very straightforward. I said, can you give me your name? She's like, well, names are not that important. Maybe not so much on the other side, but here it would help. Or an initial. I'm getting a strong L. So I don't know if it's Lynn or something, but she's got a connection to L. It could have been for her name started with an L as well. Let me see how long ago or around what age she passed. She's talking about number 85. So I don't know if she passed in 85 or she would have been 85 years old, but she talks about 85. I asked her what type of job she did. She said she did many different things. I wish she would give me one particular thing, but she did a lot of things. I think she was not just a mother, but did many household chores. But she could have done it all. So I asked her to sew. She'd sew, bake. She bakes. She did many things. So I don't know if that. You're very welcome, Dee. She said that before she passed, she was her hearing was going, because I asked her, how did you pass? And she basically said, well, I could barely hear things. Her hearing was going before she passed. I know she lived in Toronto, which she talks about Toronto. And I think she passed naturally. She's not telling me of any illnesses or I'm not feeling any pain in my body. So I think she would have passed like just natural death, nothing. But she had lost her hearing. And if she was 85, that kind of makes sense. But she talks about that. I'm going to ask her how many children she had, if she had any kids. So she's talking about 3. Either she had 3 kids, or she's talking about one of her daughter or son having 3 kids. She's talking about 3 children. Lynn, she's a lot like you in the sense that she comes around, she goes, oh, Lynn, dear. And she talks with such beautiful voice. And she's Sweet, sweet lady. She's going to be a great grandma for sure. Very sweet lady. And she's very articulate when she speaks and very, um, wonderful, wonderful woman. Her hair is, she showed me it's light. So I don't think before she had the white hair, I don't think it was always dark. I think she had a lighter side of hair, maybe almost blonde, but definitely light colored hair. And still elegant, elegant lady. I asked her again, well, do you have a message for Lynn? And now she says, keep up the good work. So I feel that she's around you a lot, especially at work. She's around you a lot. She likes what you do. She follows you everywhere, and she's right back by your side a lot. So I don't know if you feel her, but she's definitely there. And she said, Lynn, I don't know if you just purchased something pink or you will be, because she's talking about something pink. I don't know if it's a little blanket or a little, I don't know if it's for the puppy. I don't know, but it's pink. And she said, this is so cute. She was with you. So if you haven't just bought this, maybe today, tomorrow, I don't know, something pink. So I don't know if that resonates with you, Lee, but Lynn, but definitely, yeah, she's always like little squares pink. It's very, very cute. Just let me know if that resonates with you. I've got a funny feeling it's on your mom's side. She gets very excited when I asked her questions. So she had these bursts of energies, and she gets very excited. And wonderful, like I said, wonderful energy, wonderful. They can always come with lots of love for sure, but she's definitely around you. Okay, just leave that with you. Ellen, if there's anybody here that wants to come through. Okay. I see like there's two people. There's a man and a woman. The woman is kind of arguing with the other guy. My guy's like, okay, who's, because I don't decide who comes first. But there's definitely a woman kind of telling the male, like, she's going to come first. She has to say her piece before the other one does. And they're kind of not arguing, but definitely she's kind of putting her foot down. So let's see who this lady is. That's crossed. It could be an aunt or a great aunt. I don't feel it's a mother, but this is definitely very, very sturdy, very strong woman that comes across. And I don't feel she's your mother, but I do feel she's an aunt or a great aunt, because she comes strong. I don't think she had children herself, but she looked at you or at all the other children as basically kind of her kids. But I don't know if that resonates with you, but there's a great aunt here. And I don't know if she was a teacher, but she could have very well taught, because of the way she stands, the way she talks, and almost authoritarian. I'm going to teach this, that kind of thing. So she perhaps was a teacher. If she wasn't, she should have been one, because definitely the skills for that. She thought she would pass in her 70s, but she's talking about in her 60s. So I think she thought she'd live a little longer. She died in her 60s, or in the 1960 something, 64. She's talking about that. She was well off. She's well dressed. She said everything in life that she needed, she had. She never really, everything that was important to her and the needs were met. She said she did live a good life. So when she passed, I don't think they knew exactly what was causing with her, like her health issue. Maybe they found out before, like near the end, but for a long time they didn't know exactly what was going on. Maybe something rare, and or they was diagnosed too late, but there was no pain. Where she is, she's very quiet. She loved nature, she loved animals, and she's surrounded by that. And it's very peaceful where she is. Similar, she says, to the life she had here, but even more peaceful, more serene, more quiet. I asked her if she has a message for you, Ellen, and she basically says, do what you need to do. And says something about get your nose in that book. I don't know if you're reading something or you're planning on reading something or writing something. That's what she's saying. She comes around you. She's mostly, wherever you are that you're writing stuff or reading. It looks like there's some type of desk or something. And she's there. She's on your left side, standing around you, watching over you. So hopefully that rings a bell with you and that makes sense to you. So if you have any questions, please type them in and I can ask them. Sometimes they will say a few things, but they could say more. So anybody that's got a question or wants to hear from a specific person, see if I can bring them forth. Okay. Ellen, that gentleman, he goes, well, what about me? So he would have been wanting to come first. She said, like, trying to push him aside. So he's not as assertive as she was, but there's definitely a male in spirit that's coming forth. I don't know if it's your dad, Ellen. I do feel it's more father type. Um, it would have been when he was alive. He would have been sometimes wanting to say things, but he was either always cut off when he wanted to say something, or he would explain something and always couldn't finish what he was saying because interruptions or whatever. But there's something that's coming. He's coming through as that. Before he passed, he would have lost a little bit of the memory. Sometimes it could be dementia, Alzheimer. Because he's the way he's saying is repeating certain words over and over and over, and it's like messages. So to me, he would have been either starting dementia or something to that. He's talking about 5 children, so I don't know who in the family had 5 children, if he had 5 children, or somebody in his family, one of his kids has 5 children, but he does come around. So he says sometimes when he was alive, things would get hectic, and he just enjoyed the time outside. I believe that he had a garden. He's saying it. Sometimes it was too hectic. I'd rather be outside. So he really loved the outdoors. So I'm asking him if he's got a message for you, and he's basically started speaking, and at the end he's having difficulties getting something out. But he says that you need to. So whatever that you're doing, basically you got to ground yourself and prioritize and just get it done, not like do it type of thing. Yeah, he says sometimes you may not know or you want to know how things were going to work out. And he says, just do it and things will work out the way they're meant to work out. So I don't know if that resonates with you, but definitely this would be nice if it was more live. So eventually when I get more people, it'll be live. I'll be able to see people or do something on Zoom or something. So that's for now. That's what I have. Now, anybody else want to hear from someone? Don't be shy. Just put something there so I know. There is a lot of people, but they're kind of just. It's like a crowd of people just standing there, and I'm wondering if who else wants to come forth. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There's another gentleman here that I don't know. I'm asking him who he's for. Maybe he's a little bit for everybody, but he's talking about he would dress up as Santa. So I don't know if that rings with any of you. I know a lot of people. I mean, certainly, I used to hire somebody to come in and dress up as Santa for my kids. This gentleman would have loved Christmas and dressed up as Santa. So I'm asking who he's for. He's coming forth. He's kind of singing too, so he might have had a really lovely voice uh, when you asked him. He didn't sing all the time. Said some of you words with mine. Yeah. Is there anything for my dad or mom's? Don't let. He was saying something about like don't scrutinize, don't let things, like just put it there, like do it type of thing. Don't worry so much about all the outcomes. Just do what you need to do. That's what he was saying. Some of your words with mine. Yeah, yeah. Definitely could still be one of them. If it's not the same, grandpa could be another one that's coming forth. Definitely. Yeah. Sometimes they give me initials and sometimes they give me names. Like this one that kind of dresses up like Santa, funny enough, I asked him his name. And when they don't want to give me a name or they're having difficulty communicating that, they'll give me sometimes an initial. And I'm getting an S. S initial. And sometimes it could be first name, middle name, or last name, but there's an S connection. Um, I don't know if there's anybody who has a daughter would be a Sandra, Cassandra. They're talking about that name too, or something that really sounds like that. And I know that Cassandra starts with a C. There's a lot of S. I don't know if there's anybody that's listening that has a Cassandra, or because at first they were like a Sandra, Cassandra, Sandra. Definitely talking about somebody with that S as well, connected to. Um, could be connected to one of your kids, one of your grandkids, our sister. Definitely connected. The connection between that and this person that has passed. So. There's a lady, I say British because this lady that's coming through now, she says mum, and the way she says it, it's British accent. So somebody's mother, British. Jesse has a cousin named Cassandra. Okay, well then there's a connection between what I just mentioned and this Cassandra. So definitely a connection with that. And remember, what I say here, I channel what they say, and very seldom, not too long after, I don't remember. So please remember, because I won't. Yeah, Jesse has a cousin named Cassandra. So there's a connection to this person on the other side, dressed up like Santa as well. Yeah, definitely. So definitely. So there's something that I mentioned during the message that maybe this Cassandra needs to hear, or the closest to her need to hear. So, oh, her dad died recently. Yeah, and we're be Christmas pretty soon. So maybe as a little girl, he'd dress up or have somebody dress up and come as Santa. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy losing the people that we love, but we know that their soul continues. Their soul is eternal, but the physical body is no longer here. If you could try to connect with loved ones on the other side, I mean, you can connect with them. They will learn to connect with you. It doesn't always happen right away, but you can definitely say, well, if you're here, give me a sign. You know, sometimes spirits will be around you and they'll flick their light. That's easy for them to do. Or they'll, you may be outside in the early spring and it's still cool, but all of a sudden this one butterfly out of nowhere shows up. That's their way of communicating with a lot of people to let them know, they're around. They see what we do. They're always around. Your dad sets your printer off. Yeah. Well, he was around the other day when we were there. Remember, I saw him walk around. I'm like, whoa. There's nobody else. There's no way that nobody come through the door. He was definitely there walking in the hallway. So, yeah, sometimes you can get a glimpse of them. Sometimes you get a glimpse of a loved one around, and it'll just be like a little black kind of shadow, and you think, what, black shadows are not always. It's not evil. It's sometimes that's the energy that we see in the corner of our eyes usually. But I've seen some that materialize like almost like, what you see. So, but they're all around us. They're all around us. And especially if you communicate with them, the more you communicate with them, the more they'll come around and try to communicate back with you. You know, yeah. So yeah, it says printer off. Yeah, the lights for sure, the ceiling fans, anything electronic because it's energy, and we're all energy. Even though they pass, their physical body leaves, their soul is eternal, and their soul, it's still energy. We're all energy, so they can do those things. It's easy for them to do those things. So yeah, yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you say, Dad, stop it. Or if you like it, say, okay, do it again. Do it again if you can. I dare you. They're definitely around. And there's someone coming across. They always said, "Oh my God, oh my God." There was their thing. They used to say that repeatedly. Whenever they found news, whether it was good or bad, it was like, "Oh my God, this lady's coming through saying this over and over." And so she comes around, one of you ladies, but she'll tap you on the head here, like you'll feel like sometimes if somebody's touching your hair, touching it looks like, it feels like a spider or just tickling. That's this lady that's coming around, and she's the British lady that I mentioned earlier. She's still around. She doesn't say mom. She was mum. Tall lady. I don't I don't see her as she had children. I think she was like single most of her life. Never had kids. I don't think. She's not shown me any children, so whatever she was doing for a living, I think she didn't want to bring kids into the world because of the job that she was doing. The work it was important work, but there was long hours. I asked her, how well can you tell me what age you passed or how long ago you passed? She says she lived long enough that she forgot her age. So she either got a sense of humor or sometimes you have to press them on and say, "Oh, come on, give me your age." I think she was in the 80s as well. But yeah, she was a very, she was the type of woman that was very organized, very routine, almost like army style. She wasn't in the army, but she was very regimented and very organized. And then at the end, when she got a little bit older, she like just relaxed a lot more. But through her life, everything was planned and organized, and it had to go like in that kind of schedule. So just let me know if that rings a bell with any of you, because she just comes around and so much love. There's so she's got like so much abound. She wished she would have changed in this lifetime. She said perhaps she should have had kids, but at the time when she was alive, she didn't think it would be a good idea for her to have the kids. But looking back, she thinks, geez, maybe I should have. So even there on the other side, they bring all their characters, their traits with them, their personalities. They bring that with them, and but sometimes it's not total regrets, but they know that because what they see and everything now, that perhaps if they had did things a little different, things would turn out different, depending on our choices. So, Lynn, Ellen, any questions? You have a question. Recently, I had a dream about a female ghost. She was kind of sad, dirty. She had blonde hair. I don't know her, but she said she's one of my spirit guides. Okay, well, let me see. I'm going to ask my guides. Okay. She's a spirit guide, but she's not like the way you saw her is a little bit different than what she really looks like. But the dream was for you to pay attention to. There's got to be somebody around that you know personally that is going through some trauma or something that they're not telling you. So somebody you know, sometimes they're not, could be an acquaintance or a close friend, but they're hiding something that what they're really going through is really difficult, and she doesn't, they don't share that with you. Yeah, yeah, she just came to you to tell you about this other person that may need uh, a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on. So she's talking about somebody in your life that is going through a hard time. And she just came and said, I'm your spirit guide, because she wants you to pay attention to this other person. Because your spirit guide, trust me, yes, I see her as long hair, but actually she's got long hair, and she looks very angelic. That's your spirit guide. And I believe that your spirit guide, not everybody gets to know their spirit guide's names, but I believe that your spirit guide's name is Angela. And it's not, so she came to you in the dream to tell you about this other woman, or maybe you'll meet this person. If you don't have anybody in your group of people that you hang out with, whether it's friends, family, that fits the description of this other woman that you saw in the dream, then you will meet this person that's going to be really sad and going through a lot. It won't show it, but definitely will need your ear, and maybe you're going to say something to help her. Yeah. Well, spirit guides won't ask you to pray for them. No, you don't pray for spirit guides. So it could very well be that, like I said, she's showing you someone else that's going to need for your prayers. But so there's got to be somebody, deep down that may need prayers, and you can just say, whoever this person is, from the white light, that needs prayers and help, then I send them many blessings. She said, we need you, and that's the reason we help humans. Well, yes, a lot of light workers. I mean, so in a dream, you could have had, let's say, somebody who does astral travel, or somebody that, out of body experience. Some people interfere with other people's lives, and they'll come in an astral travel kind of dream and say, oh, yeah, do this, do that, do this, do that. Your spirit guide doesn't tell you what to do. They'll guide you. When you ask them questions, they'll guide you. But they don't say to you, spirit guides don't ask for prayers. They don't need the prayers. They're on the other side. They're very happy. They're very peaceful. They're protected. The people that need prayers are the people on planet Earth, and maybe on other planets in the galaxy. But yeah, no. And that I teach that in my class. If you think, whether it's a dream or in a meditation, you see somebody come to you or you hear, then they say, pray for me. Or if you don't have a good feeling, you could say, are you from the white light? Okay, the universal law is that if they're not, they will disappear. You'll never see them again. Because through meditations, just sitting quietly, sometimes, I see things, and a lot of people will feel things too and see. But anytime that you feel uneasy, so when, you can sit at home and say, yes, humans try to help humans the best way they can, but are you from the white light? It could be somebody approaching you in the spirit, kind of the spirit realm, but not from spirit per se, but astral travel and trying to influence. So it could be something like that, because spirit guides definitely don't need our prayers. They come and help us, so they answer our prayers and help us by guiding us, but they don't come and say, oh, pray. If you dream that somebody's telling you in the dream to pray for someone else, probably that person does need prayers. And like I said, it could be somebody you know or you'll meet, and just send them prayers. So much fun. Yeah, when you're dreaming ego. Well, ego can do a lot of different things, especially in the dreams. And you could be dreaming about a part of your life that you're going through, and they're saying, pray for so and so. But no, Prayers is not a thing where you just repeat a prayer over and over and over in your own words. Just ask the universe, ask the God of your understanding, source, infinity, the divine, God, creator, goddess, and just ask, I need help. Please help me, and give gratitude right away as if your prayers have already been answered. Okay, because some of the traumas that we experience in our life, it's meant we some crazy idea we had on the other side to agree to some of the stuff that we need to experience. And if we were on this planet and everything was always great, 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 we will learn to appreciate the things that are great when they're great. So you need sometimes some things to kind of get you to take a second, reevaluate life, rest, step back. So just ask for that and ask for yourself to be guided and ask for blessings. Yeah. Well, some people believe in evil spirits. Most of the time, they can be, not great spirits. I don't say totally evil, evil. There's evil in the world. But on the other side, the spirits, most of them are that have crossed over are good. The only time somebody may experience a lot of evilness here, if somebody sent them, a curse. Some people don't believe in curses, but there's some that do happen. Um, or somebody's jinxed you, but jinx don't last very long. Curses can last a long time. But usually it's not done from just a neighbor or somebody doesn't know what they're doing usually. So, but anytime you feel that, whether you're in a dream and you wake up and you felt something wasn't right, just say, hey, so and so, you had a dream. Call them by their name or say whatever it is that you dreamed. Are you from the white light? And if they are, they'll come back. And even if you feel uneasy, they will come back. It's something for you to learn, as something for you to try and understand and cope. But if you say that and you never dream of them, you never see them again, you never think about them, then they were definitely not good and they're gone. They'll never be back. And I say the word never because it's a universal law. So they won't be back. Same thing I did with one of my grandkids. She's a medium as well. And she was getting laughed at school when she was very young. And her mom says to me, well, she's a medium. And I said, well, okay, we'll come over to my place. And I said to her, all right, call this person that you see at school, because I knew it was a spirit. It wasn't a real person, because all the other kids were laughing at her. She was, I don't know, grade 3. She was young. So she called her, and I saw her too. And I said, okay, I want you to ask her, are you from the white light? And she did. And then she's like, well, she's gone. I said, that's right. She wasn't a very good spirit. She did come around. Sometimes other spirits will come around because they need help crossing over. And a lot of people that have the ability to help somebody cross over don't know they can. There's a lot of people that are mediums don't know they're mediums. And not all mediums can cross people over. I mean, we're called rescue mediums. So in a dream that says, hey, help this person may come to you and say, I need help crossing over. If that's the case, you either say, you know what, I'm going to learn, I'm going to try to cross them over, or ask a medium to cross them over. And they'll cross them over. Or you can say, find somebody else to cross you over. Same with messages. As I tell my students, if you have a message to say and you don't feel like saying it, whether you're in a public place or you just don't feel, you don't have to give the message. Another medium, another person that can give messages, they'll use someone else to give a message to. They'll use that. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. See, if you feel it's evil, and if you fear, evil feeds on fear. That's why sometimes I'll tell people, in your home, if you think there's something going on that you don't like, you feel the energy's thick, you just say, hey, this is my home. I don't know who's here, but this is my home, and I command you to leave my home now, to never return. I command you. You can say, I command you in the name of Jesus if you want, in the name of God, but it's your home. So you declare, you would say that out loud to any spirits that are not welcome, spirits that have no business in your home. This is one thing that's really difficult when people live in apartments, because Spirits move through the walls are all over the place. But you can say this is your home, even though you live in an apartment, and they will stop coming in to your place. Yeah, that feels strange. Yeah, yeah. If you say leave and don't come back. Oh, yeah. I don't know what in your room. I don't know if you can smudge with sage. Sage is moderate. It's good. Or you can go to each corner of your apartment, your room, your house, and clap your hands in each corner to remove unwanted energy. Sometimes the energies get stuck. It becomes stagnant, and you need to get rid of it. You open all the windows if you want to smudge. Even having a little bell and just chiming your bell everywhere just to get the energy to move. But claim your house. This is my home. Any unwanted spirit, anybody who's that is not from the white light, need to leave immediately. Leave now to never return. And you'll see the air in your home change. When I do a house clearing, I go in and usually sometimes the air you breathe and it's so thick and heavy, it's hard to breathe. And once you clear it, I mean, it's just like night and day. It's like a heavy fog has been lifted, and the air is thinner, it's brighter, it's easier to breathe. So you could do something like that. Burning cinnamon is supposed to attract some money. It's not good for cleaning energy. White sage is good, or frankincense. I prefer, my all-time is frankincense. You could buy sometimes a little frankincense in myrrh cones in little metaphysical stores, or just burn frankincense. Palo Santo, they're little wooden sticks. Palo Santo is hard to burn sometimes. You can do that. And if you don't, there's stuff that you can buy. I make my sprays here. I don't know if Ellen, you know where you live, but here I make a spray. It's like eau de Floride. It's called in French, but it's basically Florida water, and that's supposed to help. And it's a combination of oils and in it that kind of helps with a spray. But before I did sprays, I did a lot of burning frankincense. Frankincense is amazing. You're from Iran, yeah. So frankincense is amazing. Frankincense and myrrh together is amazing. That's what they burn in churches to clear before the priest will give a sermon. So yeah, try that. Frankincense will work. I guarantee it. I prefer that to sage. Sage, a lot of natives, Americans here will use sage, and it clears, but it's moderate. It's a moderate clearing and cleansing, but I hands down frankincense, or just frankincense and myrrh. I usually get the mix, or Palo Santo. And Palo Santo does the same thing that frankincense does, but it comes usually in little wooden sticks or little chips, and it's hard to burn. Like, it's hard. You have to light it constantly. So you try that and let me know. Let me know what it does. Yeah, yeah. So, well, everybody that's come around right now. There is somebody that's coming around. I feel that the ear, his left ear is. You're very welcome, Ellen. There's a gentleman that's coming, and his left ear would have had either some pain, or didn't hear very well, or very sensitive. I just feel this whole area of the ear is bothering him. Let me see if I can get a name or. Okay. He's got a K. I don't know if it's Kenneth or what it is, or he's connected to somebody named Kim. But definitely a K initial. Before he passed, he's telling me he was a little frustrated. Well, if he had a problem with the ears, it would have been, trouble with balance and stuff like that. But he was a little bit frustrated. Okay, because he was trying, I guess, to figure out what was going on with him. I guess doctors didn't know, and he was frustrated because he couldn't figure out what was going on. So I don't know where he lived, but definitely something. All this is kind of muffled a bit, so it makes me think although it was very sensitive, it was a little bit painful. but he was really that frustrated him. They couldn't figure out what it was in his ear. Now, I don't know if this gentleman would have lived like in the South. It makes me feel that either he wanted to take a holiday in Acapulco or he's been there, but he's talking about Acapulco. So if any of you had a male a member of the family that talked about that or wanted to visit or always went to visit there, he's talking about Acapulco. And there's a K in his name, and he's connected to somebody like a name like Kim. So there was a lot going on the left side for one thing, and even had, I don't know, something to do with the left rib or left lung, this kind of back area. There was something going on there too. But it was this time to go. And where he is now, he says there's no pain. So where he is to go, because he knows that if he would have continued living, he would have suffered more. I think there was conditions with the heart or something, blocked arteries or something. So it would have been difficult. So when he passed, he knows that it's better than that having stayed alive and gone through more severe health issues. And sometimes he would have talked to people and said one thing, and then just to see the reaction of the people around him, because then he would retract what he said and said, well, I said that because of this. So he's a bit of a joker. I don't think people knew how to really take him, but he was a bit of a joker. Yeah. It's kind of quiet down right now. Seems to be a lot of people there. They're just standing. So maybe it's other people that may come on YouTube later on and look at this and think, oh, some of the stuff it connects with them too. Yeah. Any other questions before we wrap up for the night? No more questions. I think one of my Jody Beats was supposed to come on tonight, but he must be working. I think he'll be like a little peeved that he didn't get on. So, all right. Well, if there's anything later on, like, shoot me a little message. You're very welcome, Dee. My pleasure. Thank you, Ellen. My pleasure. And I'll be doing this again sometime. Just don't know when, but I will. Now that I know a little bit how to put this on and saying, hey, I'm going to come live soon. It's a little bit better. Still learning on YouTube. All right, I'm going to leave this with you guys. Thank you. Many blessings. Blessed be. And try that frankincense. It's amazing stuff. Okay. Bye for now. Good night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Blessed be, Lynn. Yes, soon.